We've got a postscript here to the story of the three demons, Dhamma, Vyala and Kata. They were created by the demon Sambara to defeat the gods, and they almost won. They had no past karma to weigh them down, no egoistic notions to weigh them down, but the gods very cleverly fed them these egoistic notions and then eventually defeated them. So I've got a postscript here to this story. Vasistha continued, O Ram, after Sambara had been deserted by the three demons, Dhamma, Vyala and Kata, he realized that they had foolishly entertained egoistic notions and had thus come to grief. Hence he resolved to create more demons, but this time with self-knowledge and wisdom, so that they might not fall into the same trap of ego sense. So here we've got, it's like a sequel, isn't it? It's a sequel to the Terminator, where they come back with even more deadly and apparently undefeatable robots. Sambara thereupon created by his own magic power 3 more demons known as Bhima, Bhasa and Drdha. They were omniscient, they were endowed with self-knowledge, they were full of dispassion and sinless, they regarded the whole universe as of no more value than a blade of grass. In other words, they weren't going to be taken in by anything that was on show. They began to fight with the army of the gods. In spite of fighting for a considerable time, the ego sense did not arise in them. So they weren't going to be praised or flattered or tempted. Whenever the ego sense raised its head, they subdued it with self-enquiry. Who am I? This is what we were talking about in the previous chapter. This is really the ultimate spiritual practice, is to inquire into what is meant when we say I am. They were therefore free from fear of death, devoted to appropriate action in the present, free from all attachment, devoid of the feeling I did this, intent on doing the work allotted to them by the master Sambara, free from desire and from aversion, and endowed with equal vision. Being endowed with equal vision means that you don't say, oh, I like that, no, I don't like that. It's all a matter of indifference to them. They just get on with what they have to get on with, which in this case means defeating the gods. The army of the gods was quickly defeated by them. The gods fled to Lord Vishnu for refuge. At his command, they took up their abode in another region. After this, Lord Vishnu himself had to fight with the demon Sambara. Slain by the Lord, the demon instantly reached the abode of Vishnu. Lord Vishnu also liberated the 3 demons, Bhima, Bhasa and Drdha, who, when the body fell, became enlightened as they had no ego sense. So this was in keeping with the prophecy from earlier, when it was stated that Vishnu was going to have to defeat them all by himself. So Vishnu, who's in charge, who keeps the whole show going, obviously had to take things into his own hands here, as the whole cosmic order was going to be upset. So the 3 new demons actually get enlightened and leave their bodies behind. O Ram, the conditioned mind alone is bondage, and liberation is when the mind is unconditioned. The conditioning of the mind drops away when the truth is clearly seen and realized. And when the conditioning has ceased, one's consciousness is made supremely peaceful, as when the flame of a lamp is put out. A lamp being put out is really, as far as I know, is the basic meaning of Nirvana. Nirvana means blown out. And it's, what's been blown out is the tendency to get involved in the world appearance. That's our conditioning. And when you're at rest in that awareness, it's a state of peace. The attention isn't being hijacked, it's not being diverted here and there. To realise that the self alone is all this, whatever one may think of anywhere, is clear perception. So the self alone is all this, and is whatever you think of in your imagination. All this is the self. This is clear perception. Conditioning and mind are but words with that corresponding truth. When the truth is investigated, they cease to be meaningful. This is clear perception. When this clear perception arises, there is liberation. And that clear perception arises when the attention is reined in on itself. It's not being diverted all over the place. It's not being caught up in ideas, not being caught up in trying to make some sort of system or model of what's going on. The attention is resting in itself. This is liberation. Dhamma, Vyala and Kata illustrate the mind that is conditioned by the ego sense. Bhima, Bhasa and Drdha illustrate the mind that is free from conditioning or ego sense. O Ram, do not be like the former, but be like the latter. That is the reason why I narrated this story to you, my dear and highly intelligent disciple.